Today we're going to be going over the top 5 Pokemon card sets that I think are worth investing in. Some of these are going to be short-term holds, maybe short-term flips, but a lot of these, most of these are going to be just long-term holds, sets that I think will do very well in the future. So again, not necessarily sets that I think are the best or the most fun to open or anything like that. These are just sets that I think will do very well in the future. Again, this is not financial advice or anything like that. I just want to put this in a video, kind of hold myself accountable. We'll go back and look at this in later years, see how I did. And it's just fun to make predictions. I mean, that's what YouTube's for, right? Anyone can sort of make a prediction. You can let me know in the comments if you agree. If you disagree, we can kind of talk about where we see the Pokemon card market going. But I think this is a fun idea for a video and content that I wanted to see and was watching when I first started. So we'll hop right into it. The first one here is going to be the Celebrations ETB. And this one, just in general, I think Celebrations as a set will do very well. Specifically, again, less so as a long-term hold. And that's why I've got 5 sets here, but I've got them sort of in order of investability. So this would be number 5, sort of the 5th best set in my opinion. And that would be because of 30th anniversary coming up next year. I think some of this might already be priced in, you see here on the chart, up 139% on the year, but I still think there's room for this to grow. I think next year with 30th anniversary coming, whether we get the 30th anniversary actually on Pokemon Day in April or if we get it later on in the year, I think most of the celebration sets will just go up just in tandem with the 30th anniversary. Pokemon's obviously going to be spending a lot of money on marketing for the 30th anniversary and all that. I think it's going to do well in helping the old sets sort of be brought up with them as people start to look for these cool cards, but in a cheaper way that they can afford. I know when I first got into the hobby was in 2022, and Celebrations was not quite the new hot thing anymore, but I still really wanted to open this set. I thought it was fun. The very first big product that I opened was a Celebrations UPC, just because I wanted those metal cards that came inside and I wanted to open up some Celebrations packs. I think it's a very fun set for those specifically getting back into the hobby because the pull rates are so good and the cards are so iconic, and it's a fun way to get them back when they can't afford the new cards or the old Charizard or anything like that. So this is just a good entry level for new people coming into the hobby. And with 30th anniversary, we might get some new people into the hobby. I know right now, most of the new people have already come to the hobby. It's been booming like crazy, but there's still room for more, I think. So in my opinion, this, again, not necessarily long-term, because I think Celebrations is too small of a set and too easy to pull for it to be really good long-term, which is why it's number 5 on the list. But I do think going into the 30th anniversary, there's some real opportunity here that this could run up with all the advertising Pokemon's going to be doing. And again, walk versus walk, talk versus talk. What do I actually have? I don't have much of this. I did buy one ETB at like 175 somewhere in there. And then I do have one UPC that was actually the very first thing that I ever bought getting into the hobby. And that was at like 360, I think. I did my strategy of buy 2, I opened one, and I kept one sealed. And now that one's doubled, in theory, I could sell it off and pay for the one that I opened, have the proceeds to pay for the collection, which is what I always wanted to do. But because I think it's still going to go up, I'm holding all of my Celebration stuff going through the end of the year. Number 4 on the list is going to be Paldean Fates. Specifically, the Paldean Fates ETB doesn't look too bad when you compare it to the other sets that we're going to be talking about here. Or $235, which again looks like a lot when you compare it to what it was last year, up 247%, but it is down. This box touched $300 for a little while. Now most recent sales of $215, $217, $219, so fallen down closer to $200 rather than $300. So again, you don't necessarily want to be buying at the high. So this is off its high, a pretty decent time. Obviously, this has one of the best cards in the whole era. That Bubble Mew was going crazy for a while. It was almost rivaling the Umbreon from Prismatic as the number 1 card in the set. I think the Charizard from Phantasmal Flames is probably taking number 2 at this point, but I think it'll fall down. I think the Bubble Mew will stay pretty close to that number 2 mark in general, and I think that will be a real big reason why Paldean Fate stays big long term. This was a specialty set that was kind of in the middle. It was in between 151 Prismatic Evolutions. There was not a ton of it printed. It was right before the real big boom started to happen, so people weren't too excited for this set and weren't buying it like crazy up at first. So I think there's not a lot of this being held by a lot of people. I think people just ripped it because it was so cheap back then. And the Charizard card, the Gardevoir, the Mew, all look so good in this set that I think those 3 chase cards will be able to carry this set long term. Is it as good as Hidden Fate? You could argue it is. In my opinion, I think it is, just because of the 3 top chase cards. I think that Charizard is the best card in the era. In my opinion, I love that Charizard card. The colors on it are so good. But when compared to Hidden Fates has a better gallery, shiny vault of the full art shiny Pokemon with the Mewtwo and Espeon, Umbreon, all those, Charizard obviously. has a better shiny vault, but the top 3 cards at Paldean Fates are just going to command such a premium going forward. And this was a specialty set that was kind of not printed as much, so I could see this doing very good things long term. So I think I have 3 or 4 boxes of these. I think I have 1 Pokemon Center exclusive ETB of this, so definitely holding on tight to this set because I think this will do very well just because of the chase card. And it's off its high, you know, down from $300 down all the way to $200 is a pretty big drop. So pretty substantial, as you can see. And we'll see. It'll be interesting to see here if the sales volume on this starts to tick up with this downturn in price or anything. But Paldean Fates love this set. Next up, number 3, we've got Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box, another one that's fallen off its high, but not as much. This one was about $228, now down to about $201. So all 3 of the first 3 ETBs really close to the same price. And again, you're buying them for different reasons, because Celebrations is more of a short-term flip. Paldean Fates, you're really looking for those chase cards. Crown Zenith, you're looking for opening experience. This set was so good. In my opinion, the best set of the Sword and Shield era. I know people are going to say Evolving Skies, but from an opening experience, I think it was such a good set. It was so much fun when it first came out. This is one I actually do have a master set of because it was just so much fun to try to collect. The cards in it are so nice that this set will do very well long term because people will want to open it even into the future. And when you look at the price and compare it to the other sets, you know, I would rather have this over Celebrations long term because I think the set is a little bit deeper. But again, you could argue that Paldean Fates has a better chase card. So at 3 and 4, both these are pretty interchangeable. But again, I like to have some diversification. You don't know which set. I don't know which set's going to go up. You don't know which set's going to go up. None of us know which set is going to go up. So that's why we buy a little bit of all of these. And I know all of them are at $200, which seems expensive, but I just think all of these have some more room to run. So while I'm not necessarily buying Crown Zenith right now, I am definitely holding on to the ones that I have. And if I were to make a big sale or look to trade, these are some of the things I would be looking to trade into because I just think this is one of those sets that will do very well long term. And I know ETBs are not normally the big thing. You know, normally it's booster boxes or bust. But on specialty sets, which I think all of these that I have listed are specialty sets, it's just harder to get a hold of these specialty sets. So ETBs on this set are really good to hold on to. Crown Zenith just has so much going for it. As I mentioned earlier, the pull rates are so good, but this set is just so deep. There's so many sweet cards you can pull from this. So many cards that people are going to want to pull into the future, like the Mewtwo fighting the Charizard, the Gold Giratina. I think there's a lot of cards in here that people are going to want to chase into the future. So Crown Zenith is definitely a set that I want as much of as I can get. Number 2 on the list, 151. Now, unfortunately, the ETBs in here have not really dropped like the other ones on this list. It's staying right here steady at around $400. Most recent sales are down a little bit, 360, 365, 358, 372. So if you can find some of these at like the 350 mark, that doesn't feel terrible with what this box is. I mean, this is the most iconic set of of Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion. I think Destined Rivals is probably the best booster box set, but then 151 is definitely the best specialty set, in my opinion. I just think the nostalgia for this set is so strong. I got people that came to me, old friends from high school and college, talking about this set specifically because they knew about it, because they were 30-year-olds like me, Kanto guys that grew up on Kanto specifically, and this set brought them back into it. I just think 151 has that much staying power and that much nostalgia for all of us 30-year-olds that it is going to command a super high premium as we go forward in years and years and years into the future. Now, if you can't afford or don't want to spend $400 on an ETB, because that's expensive, I get that. And I think in my first 3 years, I didn't spend, the $360 UPC was the most expensive thing that I had ever bought in the 3 years leading up to this year, really. So I get that. If you kind of think you missed the boat on this and don't want to spend $400, the booster bundles of 151 aren't bad, especially if you can find them. I know some people have vending machines out and about that you can still find them at, or you can find them from people who went to vending machines. If you could pick these up at like $80 to $100, I think that can make a lot of sense because, again, you just get some sealed 151 at a cheaper price point, but it's still sealed packs that you can't weigh or anything like that. So if you're going to sell in the future, it's just easier to sell these things. And I think booster bundles are just as fine as ETBs. I think the ETB is better because it comes with that Snorlax promo card and it's just a better display piece. But again, if you don't want to spend $400, booster bundles can definitely make sense on this set. This is definitely a set that I want as much of as I can get going forward. Unfortunately, I have 5 ETBs, but I've got a UPC, I've got a Pokemon Center exclusive, I've got a whole 25 count case of booster bundles, and I've got a sealed booster bundle display case. So I've got a ton of 151, and that's, again, when I'm looking, you hear my videos from last month talking about trying to sell off my collection so that I can essentially have my collection for free. 151 is one of those sets that's not on my shopping block. I'm trying to keep as much of this as I can going forward. I just think 151 is that good of a set that I definitely want as much of this going forward as I can. So I am not selling any of this at this price. I'm continuing to hold, and I do anticipate this going up. Even if we have some sort of downturn going forward, eventually this will pop back up. 151 is just that good of a set. The last point on 151, I think this will make a huge run come rotation. Rotation is for the trading card game, the next block of sets will rotate out and no longer be usable in the standard format. That's generally sort of the sign that Pokemon's done printing it because it can't be used in competitive format. So that is expected to happen in April of next year, and 151 is on the sets along with Paldean Fates, which is why that's on my list as well. Both of these will be in rotation next year, and I think at that rotation point is where, at a minimum, is where I think we'll have another leg up on this. I think we could definitely have another leg up in the future before that happens, but I think it'll be a huge run up into rotation when people start talking about it more. And then once rotation actually hits and people start panicking and thinking this is their last chance to ever get 151, I think that'll be a big driving factor in why 151 will do very well, not only long term, but I think shorter term, which is why it moves up to number 2 on my list, despite being so expensive. Is I think this will have a huge run up once rotation hits. So, and then number 1 on my list is actually Prismatic Evolutions. Now, hear me out. 151 I do think is a better, more investable set than Prismatic Evolutions. However, what puts Prismatic Evolutions at number 1 on this list is that it's only at $130 right now. In the last year, it's up 26%. Compare that to the 151 Elite Trainer Box, that's up 285% on the year. And that is exactly why Prismatic Evolutions is number 1 on my list, because it hasn't had that run up yet. And because it's been printed so much that the price has really stayed steady, and that's been great for accumulating. I have so many of these. I think I have like 25 ETBs. I've got one 25 count case of booster bundles. Just like 151, I'm trying to get as much of this as I can get, so that when it inevitably runs up to the $400 price point that 151 is at, then I'll be able to sell off some of these. Even if I'm buying them here at 120, 130, 140, doesn't matter, because again, if they do what I expect them to do, and if they do what every other Pokemon product has done in the future, these will do very well long term. So this is one of those items that I want long term. And that's the other thing with 150, comparing this to 151. 151 just doesn't have the chase potential that this has. 151 has the demigod packs and all that, but the most expensive card is that Charizard at like 250 to 300 bucks. This card you can pull 9 $300 cards, not to mention one pack. But the Umbreon is just such an iconic chase card. I think people will chase that lottery ticket forever, just like they chased Evolving Skies. I think Evolving Skies is a better set than Prismatic Evolutions, but the chase factor is still there in this set, which is why I think this set will do very well long term, and why I'm trying to get as much of this as I can. So Prismatic Evolutions, because of the price, because of the chase aspect of this is a set that I think will do very well long term, and I want as much of this as I can get. Again, we were looking at the first 3 late trainer boxes all at $200. I could see this very easily run into $200, even if it doesn't do what 151 does and run to 400, say because it's gotten printed so much longer, or because this is in the rotation block that's after 151, so this will be printed for much longer. I acknowledge that, but again, I'll just consider that a consolidation period. The famous investor line, you'll just dollar cost average and buy more, but it's true. I mean, you'll just continue to accumulate more and more, and then eventually when it does go out of print and go up, then that's when you'll start to make your money and you can start to sell off. So I'm fine with holding this one long term, because I think in the long term, I think this and 151 will do the best long term. But because of the price, that's what gives it the nod right now. Special shout out here to these Salamence Reshiram EX boxes and the Latias and Latias EX Premium Collection boxes. These two are great boxes, and specifically for me, I don't like carrying these boxes, so what I do is I just break them down, because when you look at Salamence and Reshiram EX box, you'll see 5 Destined Rivals and 5 Surging Sparks packs for only $62. That's $6 a pack for 2 of the best sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. In my opinion, I think that is a great deal, especially if you can find someone trying to blow this out or trying to sell off a case that you can get a little bit of case premium on. And even better is this Lugia and Latias Premium Collection box. This comes with 5 Mega Evolution pack and 5 Destined Rivals pack. 2 of the best set in recent times for sure. These 2 sets are like a step above everything else. So these boxes are definitely one that I want a lot of. And at $7 a pack, that's not bad. That's cheaper than what they are going for on TCG Player in general, loose packs. And again, if you've heard me and you watched me, loose packs do sell. You have to build up a reputation on eBay. You have to sell into it so that people know you're not scamming or weighing them or anything like that. But if you are legit with your stuff, you can buy these products, break them down, store the packs in these 5-row boxes. You can store like 500 packs. That's a ton of packs that you can store just in a closet, super condensed way. to invest in some Pokemon product. This box and the Salamence and Reshiram box are two of the best boxes of the holiday season, and ones that I'm definitely keeping an eye out. If I see these on eBay or TikTok deals, anything like that, these are definitely boxes that I want to be picking up. My wife and I are going to open a bunch on Christmas for sure, but from an investment standpoint, these can make sense too, even if you're just breaking them down and keeping the packs, because these two packs, Mega Evolution and Destined Rivals, even loose packs, these are going to do very well long term. I know they're going to be printed for a while, and that's why I'm not advocating. You'll notice Destined Rivals is not on my list of best things to buy right now, because I do anticipate this being printed for the next 2 years pretty heavily, and I think these will be the next thing to hit those vending machines, just like Surging Sparks is now. I think they'll probably go Surging Sparks, Journey Together, and then Destined Rivals. When Destined Rivals starts getting reprinted and hitting those vending machines and more restocks on Pokemon Center, I do anticipate the price coming down. This is clearly the best set of the Scarlet and Violet era, but I do think Pokemon will get a handle on it and reprint more and more to where eventually the price will come down on them a little bit. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to come down to MSRP. I don't think booster boxes are going to come down to MSRP, but I could see them coming down to $250, $200, maybe somewhere in there. Say we're 5 sets down the road with Mega Evolution, there's a sweet set coming out for that, and they're still printing Destined Rivals, and maybe say we're in a bear market, things could get pretty dark. So there is always that opportunity, but I still want as much Destined Rivals as I can get, and this is a pretty cheap way to get single booster packs at pretty close to MSRP when you think of MSRP pack price at like $550. So not a bad set here. I do like these as an honorable mention. And then that's all I've got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you do. And then one quick shout out, I just want to put it here on the end of the video, so if you don't have any interest in this, you can click off. That's the end of the video. I appreciate you guys watching. But for those of you that have been with me and are sticking with me, I appreciate you guys. One big huge milestone my channel just hit was the ability to have memberships on my channel. So right now I've got it set up for $3.99 a month. You can join membership to this channel. 70% of that comes right to me and supports me in the work that I put into this. And I appreciate you guys just as a way to motivate me and keep me going for this, because there is a lot of time that goes into this. Now, this is not to say that you need to do this or anything like that. I'm going to still keep doing content. But if you just want to go above and beyond and support me, this option's there, $3.99. I tried to keep it a little bit cheaper than a Twitch subscription. That's kind of, my background is Twitch, and that's what I'm used to, is a $5.99 subscription. So put mine down here at $3.99, so hopefully it's not a huge financial strain, but just something if you want to support me, you can just throw it in there. I know we all have a million subscriptions, so again, I don't ask this if you've got any sort of financial difficulties or anything like that. Don't do this. Don't subscribe to me then. But if you're secure with your money and you want to just help me out, support me, this is one of those ways to do it. So what does it get you? Well, right now I've got just one emote on there, but I do plan on changing these little loyalty badges from the standard ones that YouTube get. I'm probably going to do it some way as like a fruit. I might do, you start off as a little tiny cherry, and then you'll work your way up to a huge watermelon. Every month you stay with me, you get into a bigger fruit or something like that. Kind of play off the Parish Plays thing. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below of what you would do with memberships in this channel, what you hope to see. I might do something like for every new subscriber or for every new member I get, I open a pack and do a giveaway at the end of the month, or something like that to channel members. I think that would be fun. So say someone subscribes to the channel, $3.99 a month. I pick up a pack, I open it, whatever is inside, I put it into a binder. At the end of the month, I give that binder away to one of the members of this channel as a way to support me. I think that could be a really fun idea. So we'll kind of see, we'll play with it. Again, I don't expect 1,000 people to start subscribing to me day one, but I just wanted to throw it out there and kind of brainstorm some ideas. So if you have any ideas for what you would like to see for memberships of this channel, let me know in the comments below. And again, I appreciate you guys for watching, appreciate you guys staying with me. This is first milestone of many, and I appreciate it. I've been trying to get much more serious about this year. So excited for this year, but excited for 2026 as well. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I will catch you guys in the next video. Check out one of my other videos right over there.